Buongiorno e ciao a tutti, I'm Aaron here at 99 Problemi, and this is a video on the imperativo formale, that is the formal imperative. This is the mood or form of the verb that you use to give commands to people in formal situations, either to one person or many people. This is a follow-up to a previous video on the informal imperative, and together they should teach you all of the forms of this verbal mood that you use to give commands. So this video will talk about those different forms for the different conjugations, and then talk about irregular forms, and then finish up with some exercises. Alright, so here's how you form the formal forms of the imperative. There's the typical model verbs, parlare, scrivere, dormire, pulire, and respectively speak, write, sleep, and clean. Notice that there's an extra IRE verb that's for the ISC stems. As previously with the informal imperative, you have to chop off that full verb stem right down to the stem vowel. So chop off the ARE, the ERE, or the IRE to get the base form, and add the ISC for the ISC verbs. Just for a little bit of contrast here, here's the informal endings for the to form. And what's nice about this is A, I, and if you contrast that with the lay form, which is the informal you, which you're going to use when you're talking to people that you don't know, when you want them to speak or write or whatever you want them to do, even though it sounds like that's not something very polite to order people around, I assure you that Italians are more than okay with that, and it doesn't sound at all weird. It's just the verb form that they use to do that. So look at how nice this is. The to and the lay forms in the imperative are just mirror images in terms of the verb endings. So instead of A, I, it's I, A. And so that is really easy to remember if you know your two forms. You know, well, I just make the mirror image of them and flip them. It's very convenient too. And then the plural form is the plural form if you're talking to a group of people that you want to be formal with, whatever situation that would be, giving a speech to colleagues or something along those lines. But picture a group of people that you don't know, or it could be two people that you don't know that you're requesting that they do something or commanding them to do something. You see here, all you have to do is add no to the end of the lay endings. So it's really very straightforward. Now the loro, you're really not going to use that so often, but it's good to know that it exists if you should ever be in that situation, or you hear somebody say a verbal form in a group context, and you're wondering why they might have used that. So there is that loro formal command form. As with all verbs in Italian and with any other language for that matter, or for many other languages, there are several irregular formal forms of the verb here. And so I'm not going to run through all of these, let you make reference to them, write them down in your notes, but take a look at this. There's a little trick that I can teach you here to help you remember, because often these formal imperatives are based off of what would be the present tense, first person singular present tense indicative verb. Okay, that sounds really complicated, but basically one of the first verb forms that you're learning is going to be very important here for forming the the formal imperative. So go back to andare. Here I just showed the verb vado at the bottom, which means I go. So if you want to say go to somebody that you don't know, like go, leave, go, do that task or whatever, you're going to say vada, but how do you get to that? I mean, obviously it looks very similar to that vado form. And what's interesting is if you look at many of these forms, they look like that present tense, first person present tense indicative verb. And all you do there is you have the regular form for the first person from the present, and you chop off the O and change it to an A. That's what you do. And look, you can do that with a lot of these forms here. Look at bere. You want to say I drink, it's bevo. Chop the O off, add an A. You got beva. So if you wanted to tell somebody you didn't know to drink something, I don't know in what context you would do that, but beva, maybe at a party and you want to encourage them to have a drink. You say beva. Same thing with dire, dica. You don't say, in the informal you might say dimmi to a friend, like tell me something. But if you don't know that person, you would just say dica in the formal. But that comes from the dico. So io dico, I say, you chop off that O, add an A, and now you have say in the formal. So this is there are some tricks to helping you out. Now I've flagged these ones with an asterisk that don't follow this. Obviously, avere, dare, essere, and stare are some very common commands. Those obviously are not built off of the first person present. Like in avere, it's o, like I have, or in dare, it's do, or essere is sono. So you can see they're obviously not built off of that first person present indicative forms. So just make note of those. Those are probably the most common. And then I didn't even talk about the loro forms, but all you have to do there, as with the regular forms, is just add an NO off of that base lay form. So really those loro forms are pretty easy to form. Let's take a look at some exercises here. So number one, lei, lavare. So wash, you want to tell somebody you don't know to wash. That could be kind of rude, but maybe you want to tell them to wash a car or something. Lavi is the form, and that's just a regular command. So take a look at some of these exercises. Pause it here. I've mixed in some previous exercises from the first video. You'll see in these exercises that I've really built them to continue off of the previous video, to recall your attention to the noi voi forms, and I didn't put any to forms on here so as not to confuse the issue, but it's good to be able to work between all of the different forms, and that'll pose a nice challenge for yourself. So just know that I've done that intentionally, and that's to keep you on your toes and give you a little bit of a challenge. Alright, so pause it here, and when you're done, come on back and unpause it, and I'll give you the rest of the answers. Alright, number two, leggere. You want to say read something, mister. That's legga. Again, these are just regular forms. Three, mettere, that is mettano, that's the loro form, obviously. The lay form would just be without the no, it would be metta. And that's related to the one above it too, right? An iri verb that is regular. Four, fare. Fare, we know that if you want to say I do something, that's faccio. Well, chop the O, add a, faccia. Okay, so you're telling somebody formally to do something. The doctor might tell you to do something like this, and there's a distance between you and the doctor in terms of status and respect, so you say faccia to him, or he might say that to you rather. Leggere, oh, but look, it's a voi form, so that's leggete. 6, mettere, again, but that is now the lay form, which is metta. Number 7, lei andare. Remember, you want to say I go. right? Always think about whether they are irregular in that present tense. So andare is vado, but chop the O, add an A, vada. So go. 8. Noi telefonare. We want to say let's telephone. This is, again, some review here. Telefoniamo. 9. Uscire, that is esca. Again, you say io esco, I go out, chop the O, add an A, esca, get out of here. Esca, leave. 10. Finire, again, irregular, finisca. 11. Lei, venire. I'm going to say come here, that's venga, venga signore. 12. Commanding a group of people that you are informal with, that's venire, that is venite in the imperative form. Lei, avere, very irregular, this is abbia. 14. Mangiare, the lei form, that is mangi. Notice you don't double the I there, right? You chop at the ARE, but as with these GI verbs, you want to make sure that you don't double up. It's not a stressed I sound, so you don't need to double the I. 15. Loro, andare, that is vadano. 16. Lei bere, that's beva. 17. Lei dire, that is dica. 18. Lei essere, that is sia. 19. Lei guardare, that is guardi. And 20. Pagare, with a loro form to end, that is pagino. So, obviously, if that were the lei form, it would be pagi. I'm sorry. Yes, it would be pagi. And because it is formal for a group of people, you just add the N over on the end, and there you go. You have pagino. That is a regular verb with the obvious addition of the H to conserve the hard G sound of pagare. Okay. So that's all for that topic, and if you want to learn more, you head on over to the website at 99problemi.com or 99problemi.com. You can subscribe to the channel or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, all under the handle of 99problemi. All right, thanks for watching. Grazie.